There you go. So we are now live. So welcome to the Oracle webinar on their developer resources for TADHack Global, which will be running on the 13th and 14th of June. So what I'm going to do is provide a quick intro on what TADHack Global is about, and then we're going to hand over to Anton from Updesk Solutions, who will run through the developer resources, and then on to Doug from Oracle, who will share a little bit more on how those resources relate to the Oracle products. So let me just jump over to the TADHack website. So just type in tadhack.com and it will take you to this website. So as I said, 13th and 14th of June is when it's going to be running. There's the register button, so don't forget to register. We've already had a little mini hack in London, so click on this to see all the cool stuff. We had 18 hacks, some really cool ideas being generated there. What is TADHack? Sorry, it's all about communications technologies, because adding them to your apps, your services, your business processes is cool. It has a lot of value. It's both physical, so we have many locations. I'm going to quickly run through those, and you can plug in remotely. And there's a lot of money available. In fact, I need to get this updated. The prize money has increased quite a bit over the last couple of days, so I'll go to update that soon. Here are some of the locations. Lisbon is going to be the hub, but we have locations in Chicago, in Raleigh, London, Madrid, New Delhi, Sri Lanka, Israel, Istanbul, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Australia, and we're hoping for maybe one or two more. So actually, yeah, we've got Buenos Aires, that's confirmed. So we now have a Latin America location, and we may have a Dublin location. You can see all the stuff that happened last year at TADHack in 2014. And just a quick thank you to all the sponsors who are making this possible: Appidaze, Bandwidth, Dialogic, Senate Mobile, Intel, Matrix. Most importantly for this webinar, Oracle Communications, Telestax, Troppo, Truephone, and we have the support of several universities that are making this possible. And of course, they're bringing their talent of their students together. We've got some really amazing keynotes. We're going to kick off with Jonathan Christensen, who is the one of the founders of Skype, which basically revolutionized IP communications. We have Serge Lachapelle, who is driving WebRTC within Google. We have Anthony, the group CIO for Dialogue, who is really doing some interesting work in helping developers make a lot of money in Asiata Group's markets. James Tagg, who is the founder and CTO for Truephone, which is a really disruptive MVNO. And we'll be wrapping it up with Alan Durick, again, one of the rock stars in IP voice communications, and he is the co-founder and CTO of Wire. And just to mention, Jonathan's current gig is as the CEO of Wire. So that hopefully gives you some background on what we're doing with TADHack. Here are the Oracle resources. So you just click on the Oracle Sandbox, and that will take you through to all the cool stuff that Anton is going to explain to you. So what I'm going to do now is hand over to Anton. So over to you.
Thank you, Alan. It's a pleasure to me participate in this webinar with you and with Douglas, and to introduce the Oracle Sandbox. Optar and my company is collaborating very closely with Oracle Communications, providing this platform. We are trying to do everything as simple as possible. So let me share my screen first of all. Okay, if you are a developer and you want to participate in TADHack using our platform, the place to find all the resources is tadhack.optaresolutions.com. It's the same link you are going to find in the TADHack website. Here you have everything you need to start to work. Okay, we have everything in the same place. We think it must be easy for the developers to find the resources to start to work. They have only a couple of days on site to work in their hacks, so they don't have to spend time looking for the resources. So in this web page, it's very straightforward to find everything: WebRTC, SIP, payment, the different APIs and resources. The first step to start to work, which is require the credentials, is just to fill this form. It's very short, just your name and last name, and fill your email twice. And in less than 24 hours, you will receive a username and password. Our idea here is use the same credentials for all the resources, so you don't have to worry about ask for new users or a different quota or different services. Just with your username and your password, you are going to be able to use everything you want. So it's very easy to start to work with it. Okay. Regarding the different resources, I'm going to start with telecom APIs. Using one Oracle product called Oracle Services Gatekeeper, we are providing 3 different types of APIs, basically payment, messaging, and location. This product is very big. It provides a lot of functionalities, but again, we are going to keep it simple and provide just REST interfaces for this interface for this telecom APIs. This is because we think with REST and this type of APIs, most of the developers are going to easily integrate their services, probably in smartphone applications or in web applications. So using these technologies is going to be very easy for them. The first API is messaging. The use case is very simple. It's try using a REST interface, send a SMS to a final user, to a subscriber. As you can see here, we are using JSON data as the main structure, and the developer just have to fill the address, the sender address, and the message, and using this is going to be able to send the message to the final user. Okay? What we are doing in the web page is have a specific section for that, which is here. And in this section, the developer will find everything they need to use this telecom API. The documentation, of course, but also we are providing API call examples, basically a request, a response, and also a SOAP UI project. SOAP UI is an open source application to test REST and SOAP interface. It's very popular, so you can simply download this project, open it in SOAP UI, change your username and password, and you are working with the Oracle Sandbox. Okay. As you can see, you can set an SMS very easily, and in the Oracle simulator, we can see how to receive the SMS and play with all the telecom stuff. The other API we are providing is payment. This use case, the idea here is to be able to sell to the final user something and to do the charge against the billing account of this user instead of doing against the banking account. Okay. As you can see, again, the JSON data is very easy. It's just the basic information you have to provide as the amount of money and the currency you are using. And again, from the main web page, you can find all the resources you need. Here in payment, again, the same API call example and the documentation, and in the SOAP UI, importing the project, we can do the request. Okay, and receive, okay, $1 has been charged against the user 1234. Okay, so it's very, very, very simple. Next API we are providing is location. It's a bit different. It's basically a get method. It's even simpler. The only thing you have to provide here is the address of the user, and you will be able to retrieve the coordinates of that user. I mean, for example, in this case, using, again, the SOAP UI, we can request the location of the user 1234, and we receive the latitude and longitude. You will see that in the simulator, we can move the user from one place to another one, and the coordinates are changing. So as you can see, very, very easy to work with. The other thing we are providing is a sample application. It's developed using Cordova PhoneGap. It's a HTML5 application. It's very easy to deploy it in Android and iOS devices. So if you are a developer and you want to do this type of hacks. It's going to be very fast. You download the source code. You can find it here in the web. And you will have all the instructions to start to work. So it's the perfect basis to develop your own application using all the telecom resources available. The next part is the next resource we are providing. It's WebRTC. We are very happy in this area providing all the WebRTC infrastructure. It's based in the Oracle products, and it's very good, providing a lot of features. You are going to be able to develop any hack based in WebRTC. It doesn't matter if it's a basic functionality or advanced functionality. You are going to be able to add real-time communications very easy. So we are again in the TADHack having a specific section and the API call samples. In this case, it's a bit different. What we are providing is a basic web page showing the functionality. Let me show it very fast. As you can see, you can download this web page, just deploy it in a HTTP server, and start to work with it, and it works out of the box. So, for example, in this case, we are going to use the sample.com user. We can register. We can do the same with Alice. It's the game, and now we can call off. Allow the webcam. Here we go. Accept the incoming call, and it's working. Okay, it's a very simple use case, but it's enough to have something to start work with. Okay, from here you can start to study the JavaScript API to see what new features you want to add to build in your application, and it's very straightforward. Some developers, perhaps they don't want to develop advanced services in WebRTC, just to add real-time communications to the hacks. For this case, we are also providing a widget, this blue widget. It's a blue widget which appears in the right side of the screen, and out of the box it provides all different real-time communication functionalities, as for example chat, audio, video, the possibility to share your screen and to see the mouse of the other user, and so on. Okay. So it's to add this new widget to your application, you just need to add this JavaScript snippet and this HTML button to your application, and it's done. You have real-time communications in your hack. So if you have something developed before and you want just to enhance that with real-time communications, with this functionality, it's going to be very easy. You have the both options. Okay, start to develop something from scratch using the previous web page and adding new features, or just simply use that to have something with real-time communications in your application. Okay, the other thing we are providing is a chip server. This is a bit different. Most of the resources we have shown before are for Android, iOS, or web developers, but in this case, it's more oriented to Java developers who are developing communication solutions based in SIP. SIP is the most popular standard of signaling communications. Here we are providing access to Converse Application Service, which is a product, Oracle product, and the developers can develop their own hacks in Java and deploy that hacks in this application server using all the functionalities provided by the server. I mean, SIP support, media control, and using Java EE7. As you can see in the slide, it supported all the SIP stack, so it's a very powerful application. And one of the most important things is we have deployed for this TADHack the last version, which is OCAS 7.0. I will speak later about that. One of the things we are providing, again, is API call examples. We are using here ZipP, which is an open source application to test SIP communications. We provide the SIP scenarios. It's a very simple scenario, only a user calling another user, but it's enough to understand how is deployed the infrastructure, how it's doing the authentication, how it's doing the registration of the users, and so on. So very basic stuff, but enough to understand how it's working. The other thing we are providing, it's a full application. And this is interesting. We are using here OCAS 7.0. This new version is using SIP servers 2.0. They were the final release of this standard was 2 weeks ago. So the most of the things we can find right now developed in SIP servers are following this type of a structure, override method, and doing byte, and after that all the logic. But with this new version, it's more something like that. We are using here just pollos, playing all Java objects, and annotation for the different SIP messages in byte of byte. Okay. This is basic in this new GSR, that the 359 SIP Service 2.0. It's a simple structure. The developing is easier. It's more clear for the developer how to do things, how to add this business logic to that. Because we are using here the last version of the product, it's a great opportunity for the Java developers to start to play with this new GSR and to understand better how it was and the new features provided by the Java EE7. Okay. So the application we are providing to illustrate that functionality is a back-to-back giant. It's just something we have in the middle of the communication between two users, and it's able to communicate with each user independently. So you can have different logic depending on the message you are receiving, if you want to forward the message to another user or not, or consult a REST service in the middle to do any other forwarding or whatever. Okay, it's very, very clear. And again, if we go to the TADHack website, to the SIP server, we can go to the application example, which is uploaded also in GitHub, and you have here all the instructions to import it in Eclipse, to compile it, and to deploy it in the server. So, very, very. The last part is the support. As you can see before, we are using GitHub for all the source code and all the documentation, and we are using also the GitHub for support. All the different sections have a issue section where you can open a new issue and share any problem you have, any question, any doubt, and we read that issue and we will try to help you as much as possible to solve the problems. Okay, so let me stop to share that. Okay, so developers, if you have any question about that, don't hesitate to open an issue or to contact us. For sure, we'll try to replicate. The same case, if you miss any feature or you are needing something more to develop your own hacks, the platform is quite powerful, quite flexible, and we'll be really glad to try to help you. And so Douglas is going now to explain the products who are providing all the functionality, so we can see the functionality and also the product supporting them. It's very interesting. Doug?
Anton? I'm always amazed at Anton presenting all that material and covering so much ground only in 15 minutes, and doing it so not only eloquently but also very quickly and very well laid out. So good job there. I'm assuming you can all see this presentation here, and it says, what does Oracle want in TADHack? If not, jump in there and speak. But real quickly, just to position Oracle here, Oracle desires and wants to be the premier platform provider in the industry, not just for IT platforms, but also for communications. And as we move down the IP path, we are looking to provide the best quality service platforms, WebRTC platforms, API platforms. But what do we want out of TADHack? We're looking for a lot of ideas. We're looking for a lot of applications and services that we can then take and turn into services that we can then turn into money and turn into ideas that we can take to our customers. What we see in the long term for TADHack with Oracle is working with the developer communities, individuals, small companies, medium-sized companies, even large companies, even integrators, where they could pull together some ideas very quickly in a open sandbox, like the sandbox that Anton just described, and produce these ideas where we show them off to the industry, but then we like to turn and take that to our customers and show what's going on, whether it's a joint meeting, whether we do it solo, or whether we collaborate. But this is a way that we can then take your ideas and bring them out to very large communication service providers or enterprises. And it's very interesting to see how they light up and get involved with TADHack and TAD Summit when they see these ideas and see what's coming down the path. We also firmly believe we have some of the best and easiest platforms to work with. They're rich in history, they go back, and they're highly available and fault resilient. So there's a lot of telco history behind what we're doing here. But enough about Oracle. Let's look at a little more what Anton presented here, in that we are driving the communications industry, we as Oracle, and as also with Alan and the TAD community at large, dealing with this communications industry. It's very complex, and as many of you know, very expensive to do anything in this space because it's very proprietary in nature. Just to develop a communications-based application going back 10 years ago would cost millions of dollars, and we're moving very quickly to a place where this is costing a lot less, and the resources are open and available and ready for us to use. Communications should be simple. We meet people in the street, we talk to them. And making phone calls are simple. We communicate ideas from one person to another, or machine to a person, or machine to machine. This should be very affordable and, more importantly, accessible to everyone, anywhere. And so what we see required in our platforms and in the community at large is service agility, to be innovative, so that the service or network or technical infrastructure doesn't hold us back from coming up with creative new ideas that we can roll out. Faster, more flexible service development is needed to have a competitive edge. We saw this dramatic competition all through the 80s and 90s and into our present day around IP and IT communications, and yet we haven't really seen that proliferation of ideas and that flexibility in communications until now. We see a lot of opening up, and we see this with the sandboxes. And lastly, to gauge that innovation, without losing control, we still need to have control and security and have things go correctly in our communications path. Now, in review, this is what Anton, under the covers, Anton did a super job at showing how you interface and how you build on these platforms. And without sounding too much like a sales pitch, the three platforms that he was describing here are around a WebRTC session controller. On the far left side, you see this where it's built and based on a media engine that we acquired from Acme Packets and signaling engine that we have as part of the OCAS, which we see on the far right. But it's one of the best in the industry for doing reliable, interoperable, and secure WebRTC applications. And in the center, we see, I call it network access, but this is our Oracle Communications Services Gatekeeper, and it's used in the industry for many reasons. And I'll show you in a minute exactly what those are. But we see a lot of internal use, partner use, and I want to say long tail or developer garage developer use to access or to get things from within the network. You see on the lower left, the CSP or communication service provider assets, or on the IT side, the web assets, and then combine those to come up with some very interesting type of applications, which we'll see in a second. And lastly, I'm glad Anton brought this up, in that when we go to write communications logic or service logic, you see on the far right-hand side a service execution environment. In the Oracle platform. It's a SIP servlet container. Within that SIP servlet container, you can write very quickly and very agile SIP servlet applications. And now with our newest release of OCAS 7.0, it really aligns nicely with the Java enterprise community for writing things like annotated POJOs using CDI implementations. So it's right now, as of this last release, very much in lockstep with enterprise computing and all the assets you have there. So it's brought these two worlds together to be agile, to develop those applications very quickly. So I'd like to take at least the next 5 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, just to go through some of those commercial applications that are out.
Doug, I'm sorry, your slides aren't moving.
Oh, okay, I hit it.
We're still seeing slide 2.
Okay, thank you. Let me go back. Do you see this?
Yep.
Okay, let me try to hit it. I may have to keep you in PowerPoint. You see the communications, complex, expensive, and proprietary?
You're gonna have to hit all the slides, I think.
Okay, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned mode. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. So these are the slides you missed. Just pretty pictures for the most part. The words more describing. Let me pick it up from here, where I showed the 3 platforms. I described them already around WebRTC, Session Controller, Network Access, and the programming platforms. I'm assuming you can see this, Kevin, right? So this, and just to quickly recap, on the far left-hand side, our WebRTC Session Controller is really driven around carrier-grade interoperability and ease of use for developing those web-based clients and providing a high level of security. In the center, we see just a simple API interface, and we saw this Anton presented there around the APIs that then I can just roll out through REST or SOAP interfaces to access core network assets and access IT assets. And then on the far right-hand side, a service execution platform where I can build out a SIP servlet, and in the newest OCAS 7.0 release, tie that into enterprise computing with annotated POJOs, CDI, and a whole bunch of other features for controlling and manipulating SIP sessions and sessions in the network, as well as interfacing things like media, diameter servers, and so forth. So, and here's where I pick up, and thanks, Kevin, for bringing me back on track here. I just wanted to at least go over very quickly some of the deployments that we have out there with all 3 of these platforms, just to give you an idea, hopefully spurn some imagination here for creating the applications. You see on the far left-hand side, I'm describing again the WebRTC Session Controller, our product. But it's being used in the industry in various ways. Up on the upper right-hand side, we saw one of the earliest deployments, largest deployments out there around the Amazon Kindle, where if you had a question concerning buying something from Amazon on the Kindle, you had this little support button that you hit that, and you had this, of course, very attractive young lady who pops on the screen, and you basically share what's going on the screen by circling things and annotating things. The real power of WebRTC is the fact that I can share data at the same time I can have either a video or audio conference. In fact, when I get online here, I prefer less to do audio, but I like to share that information with whoever I'm speaking with. So we see the first rollout of WebRTC is around call center-based applications like we see in the Amazon Mayday. Same is true at American Express has rolled out a service for their Platinum, their high-end customers. They're using WebRTC to allow a high-end customer to access or look at their bills and may have questions or talk to a representative very quickly with a simple push of the button. Lower right-hand side, we see Esurance, video appraisal service. This is a market that will certainly take off with, where not only can I look at my bill for insurance purposes, but I can also, if I'm in an accident, pull out my phone, do a video clip, or connect that to an agent, have them look at things, or have that tie into the police report, or add any other types of feature functions through a WebRTC-based interface. And Vonage is another large company that has rolled out WebRTC for doing that video voice communications. That's the WebRTC platform. A quick brief look at where we've deployed and worked with the API exposure platform are companies like Telenor, or Telecom Italia, or KT. Telecom Italia has been one of our most progressive and aggressive users of the API platform. They use it for things like connecting fleets of cars, for doing their billing, rating, for doing the location-based service for the phones. One of the more interesting applications here around the API management is the lower right-hand side. You see Verizon and OnStar have worked together with a platform to provide basic messaging and location services out to the car using the platform. So you can see just from a programmatic point of view, I have ways of knowing or accessing either my location or my files or profile on the network and bringing that together in one application. KT is another company that allows you to upload videos and photos to a cloud-based service. Telenor uses the platform for a lot of billing and rating. So this is just a sample of the things. If you go back to and look at Anton or go to the website, which I'll show at the end, Anton lays out for us quite nicely those APIs I can access around messaging, around location, around rating and billing. And the last platform I want to talk about is the OCAS, the Oracle Communications Converged Application Server. We just released the 7.0 just last week, which includes the latest updates from the Java Enterprise Edition. I believe that number is 8.0 or maybe 7.0, but at least it's up to date and the two are in lockstep. Some of the quick deployments, which I just want to highlight here, we worked with Time Warner Cable to deploy their voice zone service. Basically allows me to answer the phone from either my TV, my tablet, or my cell phone. And not only that, I can manage my calls, look at my voicemail, send it to other places either from my set-top box, my tablet, or my phone. So it allows the 3 screens, or even 4 screens, I can go to my PC, to provide my communication services as well as my cable services as internet services. Something that Time Warner Cable has been driving quite dramatically, but they bring that all together in the same platform here. Verizon Business is another one that uses for their IP call centers. They have a cloud-based call center type applications where they can bring all the calls in and basically route them and queue them to the various agents. This is a real useful way that they've been able to innovate very quickly around the SIP servlet model. Last one worth mentioning, one of the largest deployments of OCAS, or this converged application, is the basic conference call service, which within Oracle we use quite heavily, but the Intercall has come up with a very clever way to section off, or I want to say almost in a cloud-based fashion, build out services for enterprises, small, medium, large, using the same platform. So that just gives you a little flavor, a little taste of what's going on. I know I've shown you here some of the deployments that are out there in a large way, and this is where these are large commercial deployments. But I'm also amazed, and we saw this, I got a flavor for what Anton presented. You can develop and build applications very quickly. And going to that same website, which I'm flashing up here one more time, around Welcome Developers, it says you can go to the site, and across that top you can see and go pull down the examples. Very quickly develop and build those applications. And with that, I just wanted to cover that. I'm going to turn it back to Alan to close this out here. Oh, Alan, we can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Nope, can't hear you.
It's not Hangouts, Alan. It looks Zoom Meet or something like that. Now.
We just try once more. Can you? No?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me now. That was strange. Never had that one. Well, hey, Doug, Anton, thanks so much for that. Anton's going to be producing some more videos that'll go into more detail on how to use the great resources. And we'll be over the next few weeks promoting them to all the developers that are signing up, because I think that the platform that Anton's created there is absolutely excellent, being able to use a whole range of resources very easily. So you can focus more on your idea and how you take it to market than having to do a lot of development. So again, Anton, thanks for all that work in putting those resources together. We'll be talking about this a lot more over the coming weeks. Doug, thanks a lot again for all your support, and we'll see you all hopefully in Lisbon on the 13th and 14th, or in another location around the world, as we've got quite a few parallel events running with TADHack. So again, thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you all again soon.
Thank you, Alan.